Hey guys, welcome back to iGCSE Success. Just checking that my mic's on. It's on. I am here with another story time, so let's get straight to it. And this short narrative is titled The Promise. Do watch until the end if you are after inspiration for your own narratives for paper 2, or indeed the coursework component if that's what your school decides to do. The Promise. My mum used to say to me, "Don't make promises you can't keep." I never really understood the importance of this. After all, promises get broken all the time. It's like one of those throwaway words. I mean, making empty promises to my mum seemed to roll off the tongue so easily. You know, the usual, cleaning my bedroom, walking the dog, doing the dishes. All of these promises I never kept. I guess I knew my mum better than anyone else. After a day or two, she'd eventually give in and my room would be spotless after school, not a sock or dirty dish in sight. But to my mum, keeping a promise seemed like something almost sacred. And well, it was in summer of 2002 that I ignored my mum's advice again. I broke a promise which cost me everything. I had just turned 18. Mum had just began dating this guy called John. I didn't know too much about him, but I didn't need to. I was just happy that Mum was dating again. As for me, I was still as irresponsible as ever. It's fair to say that turning the big 18 didn't live up to the hype, and certainly didn't bring me any closer to feeling like I was an adult. After all, adulthood implied a maturity of sorts. I was not mature. Not only that, but I was skint, not a penny to my name. Mum's solution was that she wanted me to start babysitting my snarly little baby brother, Robbie. He was 12 years old and had Mum wrapped around his chubby little finger. You might say that he was everything my mum hoped me to be. Studious, smart, tidy, all adjectives that would never precede my name. However, as much as we didn't see eye to eye, I realised I had to make money somehow. It was 7 p.m. I grabbed my coat, and before I had the chance to turn the handle, my mum's voice came roaring from upstairs. How had I forgotten that it was Saturday, the day that I had agreed to look after my brat of a brother, Robbie? My mum soon reminded me and muttered some inaudible nonsense before locking eyes with me. "Whatever you do, don't let Robbie leave the house. Promise me that." "Mum, I won't, it's fine. He'll be tucked up in bed in an hour. I'll make sure he brushes his teeth, he does his homework, and I'll be sure to read him a bedtime story." "I'm being serious. Promise me, just look after your baby brother." "I promise," I said, rather reluctantly. Of course, that promise didn't last long. In fact, I think it's fair to say that it lasted no more than 5 minutes. Soon after Mum left, Robbie came downstairs and rather audaciously told me he wanted to hang out with his friends. At first I said no, but we soon struck a deal. It was a no-brainer really, given what was on offer. I said he had an hour, and only an hour. And without hesitation, Robbie flung on his red jacket and was soon darting his way across the adjacent fields. I watched the clock ever so carefully whilst Robbie was out. Part of me was relieved that I didn't have to endure the company of my brother, but another part of me was soon reminded that my brother was only 12 years old, and I had promised to my mum that I would look after my brother. I flicked from channel to channel to take my mind of it. He'll be back any moment now, I thought to myself. But it was soon 11 p.m. and Robbie wasn't back. I began to worry. Beads of sweat began to slowly drip from my forehead. I became consumed with worry and guilt and wished that I had done the sensible thing and stuck to my promise. There was a loud bang on the door. I felt a momentary feeling of relief, but also a feeling of anger as I prepared to scold my brother for staying out so late. However, it wasn't my brother. My mum came stumbling in and in a rather jovial manner kissed me and thanked me for babysitting my brother. "Thanks for tonight. I told you it wouldn't be so bad." The sweat intensified as I struggled to formulate any coherent sentence. "You let Robbie out," Mum shrieked. I apologised profusely and started reeling off some tall tale about Robbie having to meet a friend so he could check homework. The clock seemed reluctant to move that night. Together we waited and waited, but Robbie never did come back. He didn't come back the following day, the following week, or the following year, and that's what breaking a promise cost me, my baby brother, Robbie.